How do you win a military war? How do you win it? You win it with weapons.
Absolutely.
Right? You win it with missiles, you win it with ships, you win it with bombs, whatever it is that you use on a battlefield. देखिए इसमें दो चीज़ें हैं. एक तो पहले सरकार आपने ally शब्द का यूज़ किया. मुझे नहीं लगता that I think in geopolitics there are no friends.
All right.
Your only interest is your national interest.
बिल्कुल.
स्कूल में पढ़ा था निंदक नियरे राखी.
बिल्कुल.
तो जब सोशल मीडिया पे पहली बार when I opened my account on Twitter or some of the other platforms, I thought, okay, this is a two-way communication with your viewers. Yes, I have been raised by two very, very strong women, my grandmother and my mother. एक glass ceiling कहते हैं बहुत लोग, that you have to break the glass ceiling. But when you break glass, what happens? There are shards.
Shatters.
There are shards.
Of course.
And if you walk on them, then you bleed.
Absolutely. नमस्कार, खैर मकदम, सत श्री अकाल. स्वागत है एक और शानदार एपिसोड में. दिस इज द आकाशवाणी पॉडकास्ट. आज की हमारी मेहमान एक बेहद खास व्यक्ति हैं. शी इज अ मॉडर्न डे मीडिया आइकन, एन इंस्पिरेशन फॉर द यूथ. एक लॉजिकल रैशनल इंडियन की आवाज. शी इज ट्रूली द वॉइस ऑफ अ राइजिंग एंड अ रोरिंग इंडिया. शी इज एन एस एंकर, अ स्टुपेंडस स्पीकर एंड अ ब्रिलियंट ब्रॉडकास्टर. प्लेटफॉर्म्स, चैनल्स, कुछ चीज़ें बदली, लेकिन कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो बिल्कुल नहीं बदली उनकी पत्रकारिता में. सटीकता, निर्भीकता और तथ्यों पर आधारित उनकी पत्रकारिता. हम बात कर रहे हैं पलकी शर्मा जी से. पलकी मैम, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग अस योर टाइम. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग हियर विद अस इन द ब्रॉडकास्टिंग हाउस ऑफ ऑल इंडिया रेडियो.
Thank you for having me here. The pleasure is all mine. And please call me Palki.
Yes. Palki, Indian journalism is changing. We all know that the world is listening. You are one of those credible voices that people want to listen to. They want to hear you because it's based on facts. सुनना चाहते हैं क्योंकि तथ्यों के साथ साथ कुछ ऐसी बात है जो रैशनल है, लॉजिकल है और उनको समझने में आसानी से वो जहन में बैठा पाते हैं. किस तरीके से इंडियन जर्नलिज्म बदल रहा है या इंडिया की छवि बदल रही है, इस वजह से इंडियन जर्नलिज्म बदल रहा है, आप क्या कहेंगी?
मेरे ख्याल से पूरा देश बदल रहा है. Our economy is among the fastest growing large economies in the world. Politically, we have a seat at the table and we have a voice that the world listens to. We have a young, aspiring population. We have a thriving startup ecosystem. So you see, every aspect of what is India is changing and evolving. And in that context, journalism is also changing in the sense that we are not now depending on others to tell our stories. We want to tell our stories ourselves and give the kind of perspective that is unique to us as Indians. So yes, journalism is changing. We are not just addressing the domestic audience. We are also talking to the world. We are talking to the world rather, and giving them news from an Indian lens. So yes, journalism is changing in that respect, and we have to be mindful of our position in the world, and we have to respect where we have arrived. And as people associated with the media, as journalists, we have a responsibility that we must try to fulfill.
Absolutely. आज के दौर में इंफॉर्मेशन वॉर छिड़ी हुई है. एक तरीके से एक इंफॉर्मेशन वॉर ही है जिससे हम देश की जनता पर प्रभाव डालते हैं, उनको इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं. कुछ देश प्रमोशंस दे देते हैं मिलिट्री ऑफिसर्स को और वही लोग आगे जाके वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज़ में प्रोपेगेंडा फैलाते हैं. क्या ये सिर्फ इसलिए है ताकि अपने देश की आबादी को ये कुछ देश जो आमतौर पे दे कंसिडर्ड टू बी एनिमीज ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी और areas which do not support anything good, but then they are the ones who are just spreading all that propaganda in the whole wide world. How do we win this war? Is there a way to win it? क्या information सही हो इस तथ्य तक या इस fact तक, उस level तक जाने के लिए लोग क्या करें?
How do you win a military war? How do you win it? You win it with weapons.
Absolutely.
Right? You win it with missiles, you win it with ships, you win it with bombs, whatever it is that you use on a battlefield. How do you win an information war? You have different tools for that. You have the media. You have think tanks. You have experts weighing in. Are you investing in them? Are you making sure? And I'm not saying that you have to peddle lies. I'm
जी.
saying that when you win a military conflict, it's important to win the story as well.
Absolutely.
As the army chief, I think, said that there are no clear defined battlefronts anymore. So the person sitting in Pakistan, you did not name the
Yes.
country, but I will.
Absolutely.
A lay person would say that my army chief is saying that we won and he has got a promotion.
बिल्कुल.
So maybe we have won,
Yes.
right? We in India believe and we know for a fact. I mean, we don't just believe we are a democracy. We question everyone, including the forces. And that is what makes us a healthy democracy. But we know for a fact that we won. But does the rest of the world know it? Which is why the government decided, I believe, to send members of parliament to various countries to impress upon them the fact that this is what Operation Sindoor was about, and this is what we did, and this is how we came out the winners, and we did not target any civilians, we only targeted military installations, and it showed India as a responsible power that is also capable of doing what needs to be done to fight a terror apparatus. So I think it is very important to win the information war/narrative battle, maybe increasingly more so than just a military battle. Because how the world perceives you is going to guide their decisions and guide their approach to you as a country, whether it be investments, whether it be the cultural appeal that you have. Everything is going to depend on the first impression or the impression that others have of you. And I've said this before, this is not to say that we paper over the challenges that we have as a country. Every country has challenges. We have ours. And we, as journalists, need to highlight that and hold power to account. Absolutely. But at the same time, we have to set the record straight for the world as well. And I think it's very important now more than ever.
How do you think the situation in the West is changing when you say about the perspective of India for the world? We've always been friends. We've always been allied nations with the Western powers. But recent tariff wars, on one hand, we have China, which indulges in debt trap economies. On the other hand, we have a head of the state, which is claiming to be an all-round superior person who is creating ceasefires all across the globe. What do you have to say to that? How do we respond, or how does the media respond to such things? Do you take a step back and think that हम और ये जितने भी पश्चिमी देश हैं या बाकी जो भी देश हैं, हम मित्र हैं, हम allied हैं, तो हमें शायद openly कुछ गलत नहीं कहना चाहिए? आपकी approach as a journalist, as an anchor क्या होती है?
देखिए, इसमें दो चीज़ें हैं. एक तो पहले सरकार, आपने ally शब्द का यूज़ किया, मुझे नहीं लगता that I think in geopolitics there are no friends.
All right.
Your only interest is your national interest.
बिल्कुल.
And if in alliance with somebody your national interest is also served, then you're an ally, otherwise you're not. And that is the hard reality of the world. And I think India understands it. When we started off as an independent country, we had the non-aligned movement. Today we practice multi-alignment. We are part of various groups, SCO, Quad, BRICS. We are invited to the G7. We are part of the G20. We are an observer at the ASEAN. So we, like I said, have a seat at every table. And we believe in multi-alignment. We believe in a multipolar world. And we work with everyone as long as our interests are served. How do you see it as a journalist? You know, we're not policy makers.
Absolutely not.
Right? We will question our government as well, where we think that this move may not be the best move.
जी.
Right? What role can media play in this situation? And the Americans, I don't think, were ever like really our friends. I know over the past couple of decades we've talked about strategic alignment and partnership because it served both sides, and they thought that India would be a good power to invest in to contain China. But you see, India has a mind of its own.
Absolutely.
We've never been dictated by anybody else.
Bilkul.
So we will, when we want to pick a fight at the border, if somebody is pushing their boundaries, then we will pick a fight. But when we do not, we are not going to be pawns in somebody else's game.
Absolutely not.
So that message, I think, has been reinforced It was delivered in the past as well, but now again it has been reinforced. Where does the media come in? What we can do is highlight the hypocrisy of the arguments that are being made by the other side. I mean, I do this day in and day out about the Russian oil, about Ukraine, about the tariffs, about the trade deficit, and how those arguments do not hold water.
जी
So we have to raise these points because no one else is going to do it
बिल्कुल
for us. You know, when you say that India is buying Russian oil cheap, and you have the Ukrainians said that you have blood on your hands, and the Europeans, and there was a lot of virtue signaling and a lot of lecturing. But I think we have to say that there is a gap in your statements and your actions.
absolutely
That should be the role of the media. We cannot be government. We should not even try to be the government. The government is doing its job. We have to do our job. And if the media starts believing that it is speaking for any power, then we are in trouble.
again, as you said, that if media thinks that they're speaking for the ones who are in power, or the incumbent government, or any government for that matter, in any country, we as a democracy will be in trouble. ब्रेकिंग न्यूज़ कल्चर के बारे में आपका क्या कहना है, चाहे वो डोमेस्टिक पॉलिसीज़ हों, डोमेस्टिक सर्कमस्टांसेस हों, या इंटरनेशनल चीज़ें, कि हर चीज़ को सामने लाने की एक जो होड़ है, एक जो दौड़ है जिसमें सब लोग आगे निकलना चाहते हैं, चाहे दौड़ में बाकी प्रतिभागी, बाकी ओपोनेंट्स हों या उन्होंने शुरू किया हो या नहीं, वी जस्ट वांट टू रीच द फिनिश लाइन फर्स्ट. क्या ये सही है? एंड स्पेशली व्हेन वी टॉक, when we at All India Radio also talk, we keep in mind, and I'm sure you also have that in mind when you're talking as an anchor of First Post, that the youth is listening to us. The children who are now in their adolescence or any other age, in an influential age, और आजकल influential जो age है वो काफ़ी बड़ी हो गई, हर कोई influence हो रहा है. आप क्या सोचते हैं, वो जिम्मेदारी कहाँ है कि हम किस तरीके से उस चीज़ को बैलेंस कर पाएँ?
देखिए, जब जर्नलिज्म की पढ़ाई की थी तो दो चीज़ें बताई गई थी,
जी
स्पीड एंड एक्यूरेसी.
बिल्कुल,
You need both,
एब्सोल्युटली
right? If again I come back to Operation Sindoor, if it is happening in real time, you cannot tell about that operation 2 weeks later.
बिल्कुल.
कि जब मेरे पास सब आ जाएगा मैं तो भाई तभी बताऊंगा.
हाँ जी,
वो नहीं हो सकता.
बिल्कुल नहीं,
अगर आज हमला हुआ है तो आज ही बताएंगे आप.
बिल्कुल
But accuracy is equally important.
जी
Where we are, I think sometimes not being able to balance is the speed versus accuracy. We when I say we, I'm not saying First Post. I'm saying we in the media, because I suppose representing the media,
Absolutely.
especially television media. Speed takes precedence over accuracy,
all right
and that is unfortunate, and that is wrong. And I think the basics of how you do a story or how you tell a story have not changed, even though technology has changed. Back in the day, we were told that if this is something that has been put on record, then you take it as it is. But if it is source-based, then you need a two-source confirmation.
बिल्कुल
Now, nobody is waiting for two-source confirmations. They're watching something or reading something off Twitter or Instagram and saying sources say this.
all right
That is where the problem emerges, because I think a lot of people are under immense pressure to break the story first. I would say that the blame for that should be taken by the editors and not the reporters, because as newsroom leaders, as team leaders, we set the tone, we set a system in place, and
Absolutely.
everyone follows, and we create that culture. So what do we value? Do we value accuracy? Do we value speed? Do you value a good balance between the two? Ideally, a balance between the two.
बिल्कुल
But this whole breaking news story has gone on for so long that, first of all, it's funny that news is breaking all the time.
all the time.
Yeah. So
It's like a caption which just keeps running on.
it keeps running. It keeps running, and it's become a joke. And you mentioned influencers. I think the audience understands what's going on.
जी
So I think all those who put out these breaking news bans on their screens should know that we've become a laughing stock because of this. And maybe it's time to come up with another selling point, because breaking news is not selling anymore.
सोशल मीडिया के बारे में आप क्या कहेंगी? It's like wildfire. Something spreads, one status, one cover story, one profile picture, and everything just breaks to everyone around the globe. इसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगी? डू वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल इन द डायरेक्शन दैट वी आर मूविंग फॉरवर्ड? क्या हमें कुछ सावधानी बरतने की ज़रूरत है? क्या हमें सोचने की ज़रूरत है कि हम जिस दिशा में जा रहे हैं वो सही है या नहीं, या हम कुछ गलत कर रहे हैं या सही कर रहे हैं? आपके विचार?
अगर आप एक यूज़र हैं
जी,
तो सोशल मीडिया पे जो आप देखते हैं उसको हर चीज़ को सही नहीं मानना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल.
That is for a consumer. And if it is too good to be true, then it is not true. And if you're not sure about it, then do not share.
बिल्कुल.
That is the very basic. If you're a journalist, then use social media to amplify your voice. But do not get bogged down by, because social media is full of so much content. And with the advent of AI, there's something called AI slop, all kinds of useless stuff that is, I mean, it is very chaotic.
True that.
Right? So you have to use those platforms to amplify your voice, not get dissuaded by the trolling that invariably comes with it. See the criticism that may be constructive. You have to be wise about how you use these. Again, these are tools. It's like, is a knife a good thing or a bad thing? It's a good thing if you use it to chop vegetables. It's bad if you're bleeding yourself.
Absolutely. Or someone else.
Yeah. And if you are a policy maker,
जी.
then social media is something to be regulated, right? We don't have enough guardrails. These companies wield more influence than entire governments. Maybe they go and their bosses go and appear before the US Congress, but they're not answerable to anyone else. They pick fights with governments left, right, and center. So I think there needs to be better regulation. So that's and children should not ideally be on social media. So I've given you 4 categories of people or groups on how to approach social media.
आपने एक चीज़ अभी भी कही कि we don't have to be bogged down by trolling. I'm sure you being the center of the media industry, or as you said that, you could say yourself that you are the representative of the television media.
In this conversation.
In this conversation, of course. But otherwise also we all like your journalism and the way you put up stories and the way you, as I said, the voice for a logical or a rational person. कितना ज़रूरी है कि आप खुद उस चीज़ को समझें कि जो ट्रोलिंग है ये सब्सटैंशियल नहीं है. कई बार हम देखते हैं कि नॉट जस्ट आम जो जनता है, इवन द सेलिब्रिटीज, दे फॉल प्रे टू दिस in the form of depression or anxiety. They're bogged down by the hostilities of the social media trolling. How do you, as an anchor, how do you, as a media person, deal with it? Or what would you tell the other people? How will they, or how should they?
स्कूल में पढ़ा था एक निंदक नियरे राखी.
बिल्कुल.
तो जब सोशल मीडिया पे पहली बार when I opened my account on Twitter or some of the other platforms, I thought, okay, this is a two-way communication with your viewers. But it was more organic then. This I'm talking about maybe 15 years back.
All right.
Over the years, one has realized that not all criticism or all commentary is coming from a good place.
बिल्कुल.
It's not in good faith also. A lot of people are saying things just to pull you down. And in our industry and viewers or people who pretend to be viewers, so it's important to be able to distinguish between the two. If there is constructive criticism, it's important to take it, because today the viewer has a voice.
बिल्कुल.
We broadcast a lot of things on YouTube, and in real time there's a lot of commentary happening. A lot of it is nonsense. There are people talking to each other, good if they found that community space in our show and they want to engage with each other, fine. Some of them say things which are valuable and which should be incorporated. So you have to be able to discern, yes, and segregate and see what do you want to use and what do you not want to dwell on. So yeah, to that extent, and I think for people who get bogged down, I would say that that if
anyone young,
if your self-worth cannot be based on external validation.
True.
I mean, you cannot be affected by the views of people you've not seen, you've not met, who do not matter to you. They should not matter to you.
बिल्कुल.
And if you get affected by that, then you have to ask yourself, who are the 5 or 10 or 15 or however many people, I don't think most people can name more than 5 people who you would really want to be with.
Absolutely.
So do they subscribe to that view? I think it's important to know who you're taking your feedback from.
बिल्कुल.
And I would also add, I read somewhere and I thought that was very, very good, that you should not take feedback or guidance from somebody who's not been able to do what they're telling you to do.
All right.
It may be a controversial idea.
Someone says that those who can't do, teach. But that's a very brutal thing to say. But all right, would you?
Yeah. I think I still need to think about it. But I don't know why
Or maybe
it came
just
to
put
me.
better words to
But
it.
I think
The
it's
idea is
important to choose whose
Listening
words
to.
you let
Taken to the heart,
yes,
or-
yes. So you
Completely.
cannot be affected. I know it's tough for most people, and it is a brutal place, yes, especially for the young who anyway are dealing with a lot of emotional and social issues and trying to fit in and trying to achieve something big, and it can be a very demanding experience.
Absolutely. Talking of fearlessness, you talk about world leaders, you talk about policies, you talk about so much more. Is there any sense of fear, or is it just complete fearlessness? Were you always like this, or this is an evolution that we see that Palki
Fear
has?
about what? I don't know. I get this question a lot, but I don't quite understand. Maybe I don't
Alright.
have that feature. But but what am I supposed to be afraid of?
Anything from social media trolling, from any backlash from a government official, anyone just interfering in your day to day work, or someone just interfering in the work of your company or the people you are close to. Anything. You're operating at such a top level where the whole world is listening to you. Whether they like you or not, they are listening to you and they know what you're talking about and they know that it has substance. इस वक्त आप जब भी आपसे सवाल पूछा जाता है, एक आम व्यक्ति, जब मुझ जैसा एक व्यक्ति, जब कोई भी यहाँ पर बैठा हुआ आपसे जब पूछता है, जब आपने बोला कि you've been given this question a lot of times, it is because a lot of us want to speak out, but there's something that is holding us back. Or you could just tell us what makes you so fearless, or how do you deal with this?
I think I'm part of a company that stands by me. I have a very strong team that vets everything that we put on air.
Ji.
So we are on solid ground.
Alright.
When you have facts by your side, then you're anyway strengthened. And we live in a democracy. We have free media. We have various points of view. We have people saying whatever they want to say to whoever they want to say, as long as they're operating within certain legal boundaries.
Ji, ji.
And this is the atmosphere in which I have grown as a journalist. So I see no reason why I should hold back.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure that, again, in some other countries or societies, it's so easy. I'm sure it's tougher for journalists. But we have a very, very thriving and robust ecosystem here.
Absolutely.
And people say what they want to say, so do I. And there are so many people who do that.
Absolutely.
So
we hope that we keep thriving as a democracy like we are doing. And I think, as Kobe Bryant once said, that the confidence at the center stage comes when you know that you've prepared well and you have given everything to your preparation. Then that confidence on the face or in your game is displayed to the whole wide world. Talking of how you're doing your journalism right now, there has to be a backstory. How was the journey? How did it begin? I'm not asking for any particular persons. I'm sure you've learned from a lot of them.
Yeah.
But what were the qualities that you were looking for? If you can't name anyone, we would love for you to listen, for you to take some names. But even if you can't, what were the qualities that influenced you or inspired you to be in this journey? And how has it been so far? ये सफ़र कैसा रहा?
सफ़र काफ़ी लंबा हो गया पहली बात. But yeah, so how did I start? I always say that journalism chose me, and I did not set out to be a journalist. But now that I think back, I think you mentioned confidence. So when I was in school, I don't know how old you are, but you may not even know about these stories. I used to write. None of what I wrote got published. I used to write to newspapers. I used to write to the Prime Minister's office, Chief Minister's office. My views on CTBT. You know what CTBT is? Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. उस समय काफी debate था. I think I was in high school. Or
Which year was this?
Dolly the sheep, the first cloned mammal, or all sorts of things. And I used to write. And I think so So somewhere I thought that I have an opinion that must be expressed, whether or not people around me agreed, and it was a bit of a joke that nobody ever publishes what you write. But yeah, by the time I was in college, I was writing for some papers, but I was not in my mind going to be a journalist.
जी.
Yeah, so something came my way, and I started with Doordarshan, by the way. Yes.
Right. Prasar
So
Bharati.
yes, Prasar
Of course.
Bharati, and it was a good experience, and I thought this is fun.
All right.
Let's do more of it, and one thing led to the other, and along the way I met a lot of individuals, a lot of newsroom leaders, a lot of bosses and colleagues who taught me so much. For somebody who came from a tier 2 town to come and live in Delhi, to understand the ways of the world, both physically and otherwise, can be daunting. But I think in my formative years as a journalist, and then I think I've been quite lucky that way. I've had very good colleagues who've taught me. So I think my interest in international affairs was when I was in college. The Iraq War was on.
जी.
And I used to, early morning, I used to watch the broadcasts while working out. And I thought, this is so cool, you know. What are these people, like, how do they know everything about everything? And how are they standing with so much confidence with a mic in hand and telling the world, this is what's happening? This must be a really fun thing to do. But it's taken many years of hard work and reading to get there. I think a lot of people who enter journalism think that I will go into this XYZ office and they will give me a boom mic and I'll stand, and next thing I will start telling the world what's happening here. That's not how it happens. There is a lot of grunt work that you have to do, and it teaches you. It feels like punishment at that point, but it's actually training. And it's important to go through that training because it prepares you to be in any situation. And when you're actually flung into a conflict zone or a breaking news situation or a story that you're chasing, your understanding of the subject matters only 40%. 60% is logistics.
Absolutely.
Have you got the light right? Have you got the audio right? Is there something in your background? With all those variables at play, you have to be able to make sense.
बिल्कुल.
So that you can do only if you are very thorough with your subject. And nobody is born thorough with any subject.
Absolutely
Everyone
not.
has to work towards it.
Yes.
So I think, I don't know if I've answered your question, but
Well, you have.
yeah.
You have.
So that's my journey. It's been quite a roller coaster.
Absolutely. And well, as we've seen you through so many platforms, we've always admired you and the way you talk. But then any of those personal moments, any of those unscripted background scenes that we as an audience do not see, कोई ऐसी पर्सनल स्टोरी जो आपने ब्रेक की हो, या कुछ ऐसे करियर हाई जो आपको लगे हो कि ये स्टोरी शायद मुझे हमेशा याद रहेगी, ये एक ऐसी कोई चीज़ है, या थैंकफुली, थैंक गॉड कि आज मैं न्यूज़ रूम में थी, देयर वाज नो वन एल्स टू ब्रेक द स्टोरी और टू टेल द होल वर्ल्ड अबाउट दैट स्टोरी. कोई ऐसी स्टोरी या कोई ऐसा मोमेंट unscripted? I'm sure there will be so many.
उसमें थैंक गॉड नहीं आ रहा है कहीं. कोई ऐसी स्टोरी नहीं हो रही है जिसमें मैं सोच रही हूँ कि थैंक गॉड ये मैं कर रही हूँ, because stories tend to be quite
Even if not,
I'll tell you one of the dramatic ones. So I'm doing an afternoon bulletin, and there's an earthquake. I can see the table, feel it shaking, and there's a glass partition. I can see the newsroom. Everyone's walking out because there's an earthquake. But I have to tell the audience that there's an earthquake, and I'm thinking, hello. I'm just like you, and I need to be out too. But yeah, jokes apart, some of the stories that you do really affect you in ways. I think for me, one of those was when the Nirbhaya protest happened some 15 years back. I thought we had something going then. As a country, as a society, the kind of people who turned up to raise their voice, the kind of mood we had, the anger, the clamor for action. I know that we've not been able to completely change the picture, but I think we started a conversation, and a lot of women and men are more sensitive to what needs to be done, how we need to evolve as a society to ensure the safety of women. I thought that was a very, very powerful phase where where I was talking to a lot of people, many inspiring stories, many depressing stories as well. But I thought, wow, this is the time to be in the thick of things and say
That
what
inner
needs to be
awakening.
said. Yes, it was very moving. Same for maybe the pandemic. Uh, it was a very traumatic period, but those few years taught me that a lot of people enter journalism only because they're passionate. When the whole world was working from home, I saw my colleagues come to work every day. They have families too. I have a family,
Absolutely.
and we know that we are putting a lot of those people at risk. But we are turning up every day to tell the story. That is not something that can be done if you're not really passionate. And that period really made me respect the individuals that I work with, and not just in my company. I think everywhere.
Absolutely.
The people who went out on streets, who entered hospitals with masks, uh, we were truly on the front lines, and it's giving me goosebumps as I speak.
I can.
So I think there are some stories and some periods in your professional life as a journalist which teach you so much. Every day I used to wake up and I used to dread looking at my phone, because every day somebody would say that, okay, I have tested positive, I won't be able to come, or do you know somebody who can find me a bed in a hospital? You cannot help everyone.
No, can't.
So yeah, it was a tough period, but I think it taught me a lot.
True that. How important is family support when you know that your people are behind you? They've got your back. आपने कहा कि आप जब स्कूल में थी आप लिखा करती थी. ये लिखने की जो विधा है और जो आदत है ये तब से है. या सवाल पूछने की जो एक तो ये सिर्फ आप में I'm sorry but सिर्फ आपका ये देन नहीं हो सकती. ये आपको सिखाया गया होगा या आप में शुरू से ही था. मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ, या ये फैमिली सपोर्ट था, या आपने कुछ ऐसी सशक्त या एम्पावर्ड लेडीज़ अपने आसपास देखी, या ऐसे लोग देखे जो सवाल पूछने में बिलीव करते थे?
Yes, I have been raised by two very, very strong women, my
Absolutely.
grandmother and my mother. My grandmother raised my father single-handedly. She was a very, very strong woman.
Wow.
And I mean, even in the community, people used to both respect and fear her.
क्या मैं उनका नाम जान सकता हूँ?
रेवती था उनका नाम.
क्या बात है?
जी. So she had limited education, but she invested. She made sure that there was enough for an education. She dabbled into politics a little bit. She was very, very strong and unafraid of speaking her mind. And my mother, who did so much. She was studying till I was in high school. So, and she was a professional. She was a teacher. And she balanced so many things so beautifully. I think it takes a lot of strength to be able to do that. Typical middle class family, you're told that these are the books, learn them well. This is what we can give you. We can give you an education. The rest is what you build.
Values in education.
Yes. So that I think family is very important because they lay the foundation. Then my husband's family. I mean, I work very long hours. I travel a lot. I have 2 children. No professional can thrive without family support, I think, man or woman. You need that. You need to be able to fling yourself into something without having to worry about your child's next test.
True that.
So yes, family support is very important, I think, for everyone.
And I think kudos to such families who raise such strong women. I know my family is one of them. As women now in the media scape, एक औरत होने के नाते, एक माँ होने के नाते, आपको क्या लगता है कितना मुश्किल होता है, या अब कुछ हालात बदल रहे हैं लगातार? आपके क्या विचार हैं इस बारे में? And what would you teach all the young girls who listen to you, who see you as a role model? What would you tell them? Or what would you tell the women who are no more in their youth, but still have so much to give to their families, to the whole wide world?
एक ग्लास सीलिंग कहते हैं बहुत लोग, that you have to break the glass ceiling. But when you break glass, what happens? There are shards.
Shatters
There
and
are shards.
of course.
and if you walk on them, then you bleed.
Absolutely.
Right? So breaking the glass ceiling is just the first step. What follows is not easy.
Wow.
I remember reading somewhere again that it is not a ceiling. What women are up against is a labyrinth. It is challenges are coming at you from left, right, from behind, from front. So you have to navigate a lot. The society has changed for sure. I see a lot of men and a lot of women who understand that they do not have to compromise beyond a point, and a lot of men who are championing women professionals and women leaders. I work with a lot of them. I live with some of them, so I see the change. But I think we are not nearly there.
All right.
Neither in terms of representation nor in terms of the pay parity. And I do a lot of stories on these subjects because I feel very strongly about them. No, we are not there. And we still, companies tend to see women as liabilities because their biological clock will clash with their career progression. And, once you have a child, then it is assumed that you will be on leave for longer. Those same old debates are there. I think, but more women are cognizant of their rights, and we can only push for change.
Absolutely.
It is too slow for my liking. But
absolutely. So can we say that we've taught our girls to be empowered, but we haven't taught the whole society to live with and accept empowered women? Is it like that? Or it's changing?
It's a bit of both, I think. Even though we've taught the girls to be empowered, I think they tend to compromise, and we teach I see from school group projects, girls are managing egos better than boys. So they are trying to be more accommodating.
Absolutely.
I think we need to teach our girls to take more risks and to upset more people if needed.
Absolutely. How do you cut the chaos? How do you focus on the right things in your day-to-day life? What do you do to get that balanced, for that semblance of or that shred of little balance that you need to just make a whole wide difference? आप क्या करते हैं उस चीज़ के लिए कि वो एक कुछ लगे कि हाँ हम समतल हैं, कुछ टेढ़ा नहीं है, या हम सही जा रहे हैं, या आप सही जा रही हैं?
मुझे नहीं पता मैं सही जा रही हूँ, पर मैं जा रही हूँ कहीं तो. मैं क्या करती हूँ, मैं in my personal life as an individual, I think what helps me is the fact that I work out.
All right.
It really keeps me fit, and like it's a meditative process, really.
True that.
I also meditate, even if it is only for 10 minutes. I'm not sure I'm doing it right, but I'm doing something. I don't have any formal guidance, but I do close my eyes and sit for 10 minutes, and I try to clear my head. I read a lot. I think that when you, both fiction and non-fiction, non-fiction because it gives you details, it gives you information, it gives you points of view that you may not have thought of, also gives you a sense of history. And fiction because it gives you a perspective on life. Sometimes someone else may have seen things differently and in a way that never occurred to you, but when you read it, you think, well, maybe this is one way of doing things or looking at things.
All right.
And a good book is like,
it's a journey in itself.
It's a pleasure. So yeah, these are the things that I do. Professionally, what keeps me grounded is a very good team. A team that works together, that debates a lot. That is what makes a newsroom a really thriving, buzzing newsroom, because people have points of view that they express. And if they disagree, then they express that disagreement as well. And so it keeps all of us on our toes. And we know that we have to be ready to face each other. So there is a healthy competitive spirit, and there's a healthy dialogue that goes on. And when you're wrong, they can tell you that you should not be saying this or doing this. I really respect that.
Absolutely.
in the people I work with.
International forums invite people from all over the globe. Even if a failed economy is sending out someone who can just speak well in English or an international language, they tend to speak up any and everything. When you go to an international forum, what is it that you keep in mind? Your speeches or the deliberations that you've done have been heard by all of us. We've loved it. How do you prepare yourself for it? And do you go all out bashing like a blitzkrieg, or you keep some balance that, you have been invited by someone else, or thoda sa shant or soumya ban ke?
You've been talking to me for half an hour. How am I reacting to you? Am I a blitzkrieg?
Not at all, not at all. It's been a pleasure, an absolute honor.
Yeah. No, I think it depends on the subject that we are discussing. It depends on the atmosphere. If I sense, I think barring maybe one, most experiences have been pleasant and not hostile. So yeah, but I prepare. I believe in preparation.
True that.
And I believe in having facts by my side. I believe in having the numbers right. I think that data makes any argument solid. So yes, and when you're prepared, then you're confident.
Absolutely.
Also, I'm asked to speak on subjects that the other party assumes I may have some understanding of. So I'm only talking about subjects that I like to study and that I know a little bit of. So yeah, I think that's my process.
बहुत quickly, अगर मैं कुछ छोटी-छोटी चीज़ें पूछना चाहूँ, your go-to books or your favorite ones or authors?
It's very tough. I have had phases. I read a lot of books. When I was in school, I think I read the regular Panchatantra, Enid Blyton, which is now challenged for a whole lot of things. But yeah, I had a phase where I was reading a lot of old English literature from Hardy to Austen. Then I thought that Ayn Rand was the best thing that happened to the world, and all those. I have been trying to read the Upanishads, not making much progress there because I feel lost. I think one of the books that I recommend for everyone is the Mahabharata in whatever form you can read. It's a fantastic book. Yeah, I've read a lot of magical realism. I read all kinds of books. Absolutely. Actually. I don't think it's not easy for me to pinpoint and say that okay, this is the one author that you should be reading, or this is the one kind of. But if there's one book, then I would say the Mahabharata.
All right. Soul food or plain, regular, or any fast food that you love, or
No, I'm a very home food person, and I cook it myself if I can. Like lovely. On most days, I cook my own food and
favorite
eat
cuisines? It. If any?
Favorite cuisines? Indian. I'm a foodie. I like all kinds of Indian food, and Indian food is not one category. I understand that. Yeah.
All right. If not this, if not journalism, what would Palki be doing today, or maybe tomorrow? Any directions that you're looking for right now, or you have your mind to?
No, I think I'm pretty set in what I'm doing as journalism. I set out to be a designer, so had I not been doing this, I maybe would have been working with weavers and making fabric and garments.
Absolutely. There was one point that you had talked about, and I think we all would love to listen to. How do you respond to, and you've been doing that so well, and I would say that on behalf of all of us, as I said, on behalf of the logical audience, how do you deal with hypocrisy and how do you respond to it on a domestic level, on an international level, on any of the subjects that are there?
You call it out.
All right. Simply.
You call it out. That's
all right.
That's what you do, I suppose.
Absolutely. Any good memories that you might have of the yesteryears from television, from Prasar Bharati, from Akashvani, or any other media house that you might remember, or any of the people that you used to listen to through radio or see on television who've inspired you or helped you grow as a journalist or as a speaker?
That's a very wide question.
I'll narrow it down. If you
Yeah.
want.
Yes.
Any people, any good broadcasters that you've heard and you've liked their style and you have inculcated, I'm sorry, I can't really exactly shout it out, but yes, you've inculcated some of those things in your journalism today. They could be Indian, they could be international.
No, I don't think I can name individuals. I think I've actually, more than broadcasters, I've learned a lot from the people who work behind the scenes, who taught me how to write,
All right.
who taught me how to process a story, who taught me how to simplify things and break it down. So the people who taught me how to write, the people who taught me how to deliver, we had some very good trainers along the way. I think they're the ones who really shaped my delivery.
Absolutely. And now that you're here at this stage in your career, all the people who are listening or looking at you today, especially the ones who are just young and budding and getting into this field, what would you tell them? How should they prepare? How should they deal with the vagaries of social media or the world today? What would be your message to them? And that could be a broader message.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be short.
My message to them, be curious.
All right.
Because that's the first step to chasing any story. You have to want to know yourself. Come with preparation and still be prepared to be surprised.
All right.
Nothing beats preparation. You have to read. There is no shortcut there. I know a lot of people are now using AI and ChatGPT and just typing things, and that is fine. I mean, it is good to use smart tools. But you have to have a sense of history, you have to have a sense of understanding of affairs, and reading really does help, is what I would say to all the young journalists. And do not be dissuaded by criticism that may feel like it's going to shatter your self-confidence. Try to take it in your stride. It's not an easy profession. You are facing your colleagues, you're facing your bosses, you're facing your audience, and they're always at all points in time judging you. So you have to be tough.
All right.
And it's a very exciting profession, I would say. I know a lot of bad things get said about journalists and how they're not up to the mark and they're a laughing stock. But spare a thought for the reporters who stand out in the rain, in the heat, in biting cold, waiting for sound bites. So a lot of people are doing some incredible work.
Absolutely.
And it's truly inspiring. So if you're passionate about this, then you will enjoy it. If you're coming for money, then change now.
Right.
There is no money.
All right.
But yeah, if you like the thrill of telling a story, then this is exactly what you should be doing.
All right. And how do you think stories will be told in the future? नया भारत, नए भारत की नई कहानियाँ, भारत की ओर से कही हुई कहानियाँ, भारत के दृष्टिकोण से, और वो चीज़ें जो आज तक शायद हम इतना खुलकर या दहाड़ कर नहीं कह पाते थे, आज हम कहते हैं और पूरा विश्व हमें सुनता है. आपको क्या लगता है कि यही अब एक नया बेंचमार्क है, ये अब एक नया नॉर्मल है जो चलता रहेगा, या और कुछ बदलाव आते हैं या आ सकते हैं? आपके विचार इस बारे में?
आई थिंक ये काफ़ी लेट हो रहा है जो भी हो रहा है.
Okay.
मतलब ऑलमोस्ट 80 साल हो जाएंगे हमारे इंडिपेंडेंस को.
बिल्कुल.
और इतना बड़ा देश है, लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेशन, लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी, यस, एंड अ लार्ज इकोनॉमी, a large market, and a very, very big talent pool.
Absolutely.
Right? For a country that has all of these qualities, we are very late into this game. We should be telling our stories and telling them well. I think we've made a start, but I think a lot more needs to be done. So that, God forbid, the next time there is a conflict, we don't have to dispatch members of parliament to tell the world that we won this one.
True that.
Right?
True
our media platform should be able to
Absolutely.
do it. And one part of that would be owning the tech. Because media is not just a content game anymore. More than content, media is a tech game. You may have created a very good story,
जी
but the vehicle of dissemination for that story is still a social media platform that is owned by another country.
बिल्कुल
It may be a private company, but private companies come under reasonable influence from governments all over the world,
absolutely
right? So we have to know what sort of strategic compromise we are doing by not building our own systems.
बिल्कुल
I think that is the way to go forward. Build our newsrooms which can compete with global standards, and build tech platforms that can be a vehicle for these news stories.
absolutely
That is what we need to do.
Absolutely. And at the end, I would love to continue this conversation, but and without putting you on the spot, any cultural icons, any sports stars, any politicians that you, as a person, not just as a journalist, but as a person, have heard or have been hearing, or you like hearing them, or the way they speak, or the way they have maintained themselves on and off the field, if you could name any.
I'm very bad with naming people. You keep asking me to name icon on this. There are so many people doing great work. I'm sorry, I won't be able to.
All right.
Come
Any
up
of the
with one.
values that you think that the modern day youth can learn from these icons anywhere, anyone, in politics, in social activities, in sports, in culture, in art, कुछ values, कुछ virtues जो आपको पसंद हो, या कुछ ऐसी qualities जो आप देखें और आप कहें कि हाँ ये कुछ ऐसा है जो शायद बच्चे आजकल के या हमारे देश की जनता अगर सीखे या ऐसे ही emulate कर पाए तो हम कुछ और बेहतर समाज के तौर पे कुछ कर पाएं, कुछ बेहतर बन पाएं.
For the young, I would just say that give a break to the scrolling.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe start reading, maybe start building. I know that young people spend a lot of time online, and they're building things, and they're learning things, and they're doing some very constructive stuff as well, unlike the older people on social media and on the internet in general. But I think we need some sort of a balance there. Yeah.
Absolutely. पलकी जी, आप यहाँ पर आए, आपने आकाशवाणी के आइकॉनिक ब्रॉडकास्टिंग हाउस में, दी आकाशवाणी पॉडकास्ट में हमारे साथ इतनी सारी बातचीत की, इतना कुछ बताया, और I'm sorry if I've put you on the spot for taking names, but thank you so much. It was an honor, it was a pleasure talking with you, and we hope that you come again on this platform or in Akashvani to have a conversation with us many times over. Thank you so much for the journalism that you do. Thank you so much for who you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much
Please.
for having me. I hope it was worth your time.
Absolutely it was. Absolutely. Thank you.